I just picked up a new lens, and if you're like me, when you're looking on YouTube at reviews of lenses and you want to see examples of that lens, or in this case video with that lens, then you're welcome. I skip straight to it. This intro is shot with the lens, and if you like this, if you like the bokeh, if you like the way this looks in 4K, then you might like this lens. Alright, on to the review. I didn't tell you how much this lens costs too. $70 US. That's it. $70. That's cheap as fuck. And if you don't know what it is by now, it's the 7 Artisans F1.8 25mm. Hopefully you can see that right there. It is a tiny, tiny lens. So why did I pick this lens up? Well, it's $70 US, about 110 Canadian, I think it worked out to be, shipped from Amazon, of course. And I wanted something to try out, something that was different, something that was manual, mostly for video, but I'm going to use it for some photos as well, and I've got some photo tests for you later on to show you. I wanted to pick up a lens to play around with, and this was very cheap and very well reviewed. I thought, why not? Let's give it a go. This is a manual lens, meaning basically you have to do everything yourself. When you connect it to your camera, I think you even have to click a setting on in your camera to allow you to be able to control this lens. The camera won't recognize it, and it will think nothing is connected. So you're basically controlling everything yourself. The only thing you can really control in camera is your shutter speed. You set the aperture and the focus yourself on the lens itself. And with it being manual, unless you have the eyes of like a wizard, I would recommend that you definitely turn on focus peaking. That way you can see actually what is in focus, and you're not shooting what you think is in focus using the tiny little screen or the EVF and then getting back later and realizing it actually wasn't in focus. So just turn on focus peaking, and that will help you hugely to be able to get clear shots. I've swapped back to using this lens for this segment in the video so you can quickly see what I mean when I'm going to talk about something. This is an APS-C lens, meaning it will only work on an APS-C crop sensor body. Well, you can use it on a full frame, but it'll look like this. And I don't think you want it to look like this horrible vignetting, so we'll go back to the regular video. So before you pick this up for the first time, you look at it in the box and you kind of feel like it looks just like a toy. You wonder if you really should have spent any money on this at all. And then you pick it up and your opinion completely changes because it's very well made. It's got good weight to it for the size. And overall, I would say, yeah, it's solid. It's definitely a good, well-built lens. It is made of metal. Everything is manually turned, and the focus ring and the aperture ring are very, very firm, and they're not loose, and that's a nice thing. I really do like the lens, actually, for the amount of money it cost. But yeah, look how small it is. What can I use to compare it to? One sec. Alright, so here's an Xbox controller. Hopefully you know what size this is, and here is the lens. So as you can see, very small. So as I said before, everything is manual. Your focus ring is on the front here. When you turn it, it does actually extend a little bit from the barrel there. So you turn this, and you can see there that the top extends, and you have all your ranges and your numbers on the front there. So if you want to reference distances, you can. Your aperture ring is actually right at the back, and it's smooth. It's called a declicked aperture ring, meaning that it actually doesn't click when you turn. Some old lenses that are manuals, it would click, and that would be your method of knowing that you've changed your aperture. With this, it's smooth. It's very firm, but it's smooth. One big thing that I did see in a lot of other reviews is people said that they accidentally turned the aperture ring instead of the focus. I could see how you could do that because it is very close together. However, once you get used to using the lens after a little while, you kind of just know it's at the back there and you just go straight to the front to focus. So after you've had it a little while, you won't have that issue. I'm not going to go into sharpness of this lens or anything like that because that is a lot of personal opinion. Some people really like the sharp look of a lens and some people don't, and they actually decrease the sharpness in post. I haven't done an intensive test with this yet. I've just done a little bit of video and a few photos too, which I'll show you in a second. I will tell you though that after a couple of tests that I've done, it does go down to an f1.8, which is obviously going to be really nice for bokeh, but the f1.8 isn't as sharp as when you start to shoot at 2.8 and above. So if you want those crystal clear images, f2.8 and above is where it starts to get really crispy. It is obviously an f1.8, meaning the bokeh is going to be beautifully buttery smooth, which is what we like. As I said though, it's not quite as clear at f1.8. It's still okay, but it's not quite as sharp at f2.8 and above. 2.8, you're still going to get nice bokeh. Reference back to the beginning and the end of this video, that's where I actually shot with this lens at f2.8, if you want to see that. And that is about it for now, really. I haven't shot too much with this lens. I just wanted to give you my initial impressions of it. It is only $70. I didn't mute that. In the meantime, here is some pictures I took just out and about quickly with my dogs. Just gives you an indication of how, if you really do want to see it, how sharp and how nice this lens looks, how good the aperture is, how good the bokeh is, and that kind of stuff. So here's those photos. And now here's some more video shot with the lens. Well, you're already seeing it. Again, I'm shooting the outro with this lens, so here is another example of how the bokeh looks, how the image looks, a good example of sharpness if you're interested in that. I'll get some more video of this lens soon when I go out and about, some B-roll for you. I lied. By the time I got around to editing this video, it turns out I've actually already shot some B-roll, so here you go. If you like this video, hit that little like button down below, subscribe to my channel if you're not part of it already, and I'll see you guys in the next video, which is probably Monday. See ya.